Mr. Chairman, I have documents that will change everything we know about Donald Trump. Jasmine Crockett's voice sliced through the roar of the hearing room like a blade. Her trembling hands held up a manila folder. Cameras zoomed in as she pulled out page after page of bank statements. Multiple accounts, millions of dollars, transferred overseas, and none declared publicly. The crowd gasped. One lawmaker screamed, "This is a lie." Another banged his fist on the table. Journalists scrambled to check their phones. News tickers exploded with breaking news banners. A man in the back fainted, crashing into a chair. Jasmine felt her pulse thunder in her ears. The room felt like it was spinning. And then, like a tsunami, Trump's booming voice echoed from a TV screen hanging above them. "This is fake news. She will pay for this lie." Jasmine's heart cracked open as she stared at Trump's furious face. But a single devastating question screamed inside her mind. What if I've just destroyed my own life? 12 hours earlier, Jasmine Crockett stood in her kitchen, staring at a photo of her grandmother pinned to the fridge. Her grandma had scrubbed floors for decades so Jasmine could go to law school. Now Jasmine was a congresswoman. People called her fearless. But inside, she felt like a trembling child, terrified of failing. For weeks, she'd been handed anonymous tips about secret Trump bank accounts. She'd cross-checked, triple-checked. But there was always that gnawing voice in her head. What if it's all fake? What if they're setting you up? Yet she couldn't ignore the numbers, the foreign transactions, the names linked to shell corporations. She thought of the people struggling to pay rent, the veterans waiting for health care, the mothers working 3 jobs. They deserve the truth, she whispered. So she decided to reveal it all at today's hearing. But as she zipped her briefcase, her phone pinged with a message that made her blood freeze. "Don't go public, or you'll regret it." Jasmine stared at the message, her fingers trembling. She looked out the window. A dark SUV idled across the street, engine rumbling like a beast. Was it random, or watching her? She tried calling the number that sent the threat. No answer. Just static. Her mind spun with memories of politicians who'd been ruined, or worse, for exposing secrets. Tears welled in her eyes. "Grandma, I'm so scared." She nearly erased the documents right then. But a voice inside her screamed, "Cowards keep secrets. The brave tell the truth." So Jasmine stepped into her car, gripping her briefcase like it held her soul. By the time she reached Capitol Hill, reporters were everywhere. Flashes blinded her as they yelled questions. She forced a smile. But deep down she wondered, will today be the day I finally become the hero, or the day I lose everything I love? "I repeat," Jasmine's voice echoed across the nation. "These documents show Donald J. Trump maintained undisclosed accounts in Dubai, the Cayman Islands, and Zurich." Then came the silence. Not a single cough. Not a single shuffle. America held its breath. The live feed caught every twitch of every face in that room. Republican lawmakers stood frozen, eyes wide. Democrats stared, stunned. Even the chair of the committee leaned forward, as if hoping it wasn't real. Then, pandemonium. Voices clashed, fists pounded tables, someone screamed for order. News anchors across the country fumbled for words. CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, they all broke away from their scripts. Can we confirm these are authentic? Did Trump violate international financial laws? Was this money hidden during his presidency? As the noise exploded, Jasmine stood still. Her hands, now trembling openly, clutched the folder like a lifeline. But just as the chaos reached a fever pitch, a voice boomed from the back of the room. "This woman is lying to you all." The room turned. Cameras zoomed in. It was Congressman Benton, Trump's fiercest ally, and he wasn't alone. 2 weeks before the hearing, Jasmine had received an unexpected call. Blocked number. cold voice. "Congresswoman Crockett, we know what you're about to do. Let's talk." They didn't say who they were, but Jasmine didn't need to ask. They offered her a deal, $2 million funneled quietly through a non-profit in her mother's name. No trace, no questions. All she had to do was stay quiet. She could have used the money. Her mother's lungs were failing. The surgery wasn't covered by insurance. The wait list was long, too long. But Jasmine had made her promise on the porch of their childhood home. "Mama, one day I'm going to fix what's broken in this country." Now they were offering her comfort in exchange for silence. She hung up that day with tears streaming down her face. And when she told her mother about it, her mother only whispered, "Don't sell your soul, baby, not even for me." Now, as Congressman Benton stepped forward on live TV, waving a paper of his own, Jasmine remembered those words, and for the first time she wondered, what if they were never going to let her tell the truth in the first place? The night before the hearing, Jasmine had one visitor she never expected. Ben Rosario, former federal prosecutor, once a rising star, until he disappeared after taking on a corruption case against a billionaire. Now he showed up in Jasmine's office, pale, shaken, but determined. "You're walking into fire. I know this system. You won't come out the same." He slid a USB drive across her desk. "This is everything I found before they shut me down. The same accounts, the same names." Jasmine's eyes filled with tears. Someone else had tried. Someone else had paid. "Why give this to me?" He looked away, his voice low. "Because I didn't finish what I started. Maybe you can." That night, Jasmine couldn't sleep. She watched clips of Ben testifying years ago, confident, righteous, before the world forgot his name. And now, he was passing the torch to her. Not for fame, not for revenge, but because the truth still mattered. The next morning, she walked into Congress, holding his drive in one hand and her grandmother's scarf in the other. But she had no idea what Benton was about to accuse her of. Lev, in front of the world. Benton slammed his folder onto the table. Papers spilled out like a burst dam. "Mr. Chairman," he barked, "I have evidence that Congresswoman Crockett has been paid to fabricate these so-called bank documents by foreign interests seeking to sabotage Donald Trump's campaign." Gasps echoed off the marble walls. Jasmine's jaw dropped open. "That's a lie," she yelled, but her voice quivered. Benton thrust a sheet into the cameras. "Wire transfers, mysterious deposits into an account linked to Crockett's own staffer. Do the math, America." Jasmine grabbed for the paper, but Benton snatched it away. Cable news anchors blinked at teleprompters gone blank. Producers screamed orders through earpieces. Twitter exploded. Crockett bought trended in seconds. Jasmine's mother was watching this from her hospital bed. "Mama, please believe me." Her vision blurred. She wanted to run, to hide. But she forced herself to stay upright. She clutched Ben Rosario's USB drive inside her pocket. "I have to prove the truth." But how could she fight back when the entire world was starting to believe she was a traitor? That night, Jasmine couldn't go home. Capitol Police whisked her into a dark SUV, lights off, engine low. Her phone buzzed endlessly with death threats. "Traitor, we know where you live. We'll finish you." She was taken to a safe house, sparse furniture, curtains drawn tight. She sat trembling on a faded sofa. Images played in her head on a cruel loop. Benton waving those documents. Trump's face twisted with rage. Her mother's eyes wide with fear. A knock rattled the safe house door. Jasmine leapt to her feet, heart pounding. "Who is it?" she whispered. A voice replied, "It's me, Ben. Let me in." She opened the door a crack. Ben Rosario stood there, sweating, holding a battered laptop. "They're going to pin everything on you, Jasmine. We have one shot to clear your name. Jasmine stared at him, terrified. How? The whole country thinks I'm a liar. Ben drew a shaky breath. Because what's on this laptop is bigger than anyone knows. Ben dropped the laptop onto the coffee table. His hands shook as he typed in a password. These files, they're not just bank records. They connect powerful people, not just Trump, but billionaires, politicians, even foreign governments. Jasmine leaned forward, wiping tears from her cheeks. Are you telling me I'm part of a conspiracy that big? Ben nodded, eyes haunted. Benton was planted to destroy your credibility. They need to bury this. Because if the American people see these transactions, it's game over. Jasmine felt her breath catch in her throat. Everything she'd sacrificed, her career, her family's safety, rested on what was inside that machine. Ben's voice softened. But Jasmine, if we go public, they'll come after you harder than ever. Jasmine swallowed the knot in her throat. She thought of her mother, of every child growing up poor, told they'd never matter. We can't stop now, Ben whispered. Then tomorrow, you go back to the Capitol, and you show them everything. But outside the safe house, hidden in the shadows, a figure listened quietly, a gun glinting under the moonlight. Jasmine froze as a soft metallic click echoed outside the safe house window. Ben lunged forward, whispering, "Get away from the glass!" A bullet punched through the curtains, shredding fabric. Jasmine fell backward, heart racing. Ben dragged her to the floor as more shots cracked into the walls. Her mind screamed, "I'm a congresswoman. I'm not supposed to die like this." Ben grabbed the laptop and shoved it into Jasmine's arms. "Go out the back. I'll hold them off." Jasmine shook her head, tears streaking her cheeks. "I'm not leaving you." But Ben pushed her toward the back door. Outside, Jasmine stumbled into the night. Sirens wailed somewhere far off. The cold air bit her face. She looked back just in time to see shadows rush into the safe house, guns raised, and one question thundered through her chest. Was Ben Rosario about to die for trying to help her save the truth? Jasmine crouched behind a dumpster, clutching Ben's laptop. She could still hear shouts and crashes from the safe house. She felt helpless, like a child lost in a storm. A Capitol police car screeched to a stop nearby. Officers jumped out, scanning the darkness with flashlights. Jasmine waved her arms wildly. "Help! They're trying to kill us!" But the officer's eyes widened in recognition. "Congresswoman Crockett, you need to come with us now." Jasmine blinked. "Did you secure Ben?" The officer swallowed hard. "Ma'am, Ben Rosario is missing, and there's an APB out. For you." Jasmine stared, shaking. "For me? Why?" The officer lowered his voice. "A warrant, alleging you forged documents and leaked classified material. They're saying you're a national security threat." Jasmine's knees buckled. Everything she'd built, her mother's pride, her community's faith, threatened to collapse. She gripped the laptop tighter. "If I go with you, they'll bury this evidence, and me with it." Tears spilled down her face as she whispered, "Do I save my life, or save the truth?" Jasmine slipped away from the officers, vanishing into the shadows before they could react. She ran for blocks, breath coming in ragged gasps. When she finally collapsed in an alley, she pulled out her phone and did the one thing her heart demanded. She called her mother. Her mother answered in a weak voice. "Jazzy, are you okay, baby?" Jasmine tried to keep her voice steady. "Mama, they're trying to arrest me. They say I'm a traitor." Her mother wheezed, coughing. "Baby, did you lie?" Jasmine's tears spilled over. "No, Mama, I swear, but they'll ruin me, and you, and maybe even kill me." Her mother's voice softened. "Then tell the truth, even if it costs everything, because, baby, the truth is everything." Jasmine cried into the phone, shaking. "I don't want you to suffer because of me." Her mother whispered, "Don't you dare let fear win, Jasmine. You were born for this fight." And with that, the call dropped. Jasmine stared at her phone, trembling, and a single decision blazed in her chest. Tomorrow, she would go back to the Capitol, no matter the cost. Jasmine stood at the edge of the Capitol steps, dawn painting the sky blood orange behind her. Ben's laptop weighed heavy in her bag. Her mother's voice echoed in her mind. "Don't you dare let fear win." Reporters spotted her first. "Congresswoman Crockett, are you resigning? Did you forge the documents? Are you working for foreign governments?" Flashes exploded in her face. Jasmine swallowed hard and kept walking. Her feet felt like they carried not just her body, but the truth itself. Inside the building, police surrounded her instantly. "Congresswoman, you're wanted for questioning." She held up her hands. "I'm going to the hearing. I'm testifying." An officer tried to block her path, but Jasmine looked him dead in the eyes. "Arrest me after. But right now, America deserves the truth." She pushed through double doors into the hearing room. Gasps echoed as she appeared, pale but fierce. Benton scowled from his seat. Jasmine slammed Ben's laptop onto the table and shouted, "I have new evidence, and the American people are going to see it." But even as she spoke, she saw a man in the audience stand up slowly and reach inside his jacket. A single terrible moment froze the hearing room. The man's hand came out of his jacket, gripping a black leather badge holder. "Federal Protective Service," he roared. "This hearing is suspended. Congresswoman Crockett, you are under arrest." Panic rippled through the room. Benton folded his arms smugly. Jasmine felt the ground tilt beneath her feet. "On what charges?" she cried. The agent barked, "Espionage, wire fraud, conspiracy." The words slammed into her like a truck. "Espionage?" Lawmakers screamed. Some demanded order. Others yelled for Jasmine to be dragged away. Jasmine felt tears spilling over. "This is a setup. I have evidence." She tried to open the laptop, but the agent knocked it from her hands. It crashed to the floor, screen flickering. Security seized her arms. As they dragged her toward the exit, Jasmine shouted over her shoulder, "Ben Rosario is missing. He has proof of everything. If I disappear, know that I tried to warn you." Benton's cold smile was the last thing she saw before they forced her out. Outside, the crowd parted to let her pass, and someone whispered, "She deserves to rot for betraying this country." Jasmine sat in a stark interrogation room, wrists shackled to the table. An hour passed, then another. The only sound was her own ragged breathing. Finally, the door opened. A woman in a gray suit entered, eyes sharp as glass. "Congresswoman Crockett, my name is Agent Rollins. Let's talk." Jasmine lifted her chin. "I've done nothing wrong." Rollins laid down a thick folder. "We have wire transfers traced to your staff, payments from an offshore company linked to Chinese interests." Jasmine slammed her fists on the table. "Those payments were planted. You're being fed lies to protect Trump and everyone tied to those accounts." Rollins stared at her quietly. "Or, you're a very skilled actress, and you're caught." Tears blurred Jasmine's vision. "I'm telling the truth. People's lives depend on it." Rollins sighed. "If you sign a confession, we might spare you a lifetime sentence." Jasmine recoiled. "I'd rather die." Rollins leaned closer. "Your mother's hospital funding could disappear overnight. Think carefully." Jasmine's entire body shook. "You'd ruin an innocent woman to shut me up?" Rollins closed the folder, voice icy. "We'll do whatever it takes." The metal door swung open again. This time, Congressman Benton stepped inside, flanked by armed guards. Jasmine recoiled as if struck. "You?" she spat. "You set me up." Benton smiled, cold and precise. America doesn't need chaos before an election. You're a problem, Jasmine. Jasmine's voice shook. The truth isn't chaos. Benton leaned closer, his breath like ice. Trump's accounts, the foreign cash, none of it matters if you're labeled a criminal. People won't even look at your evidence. Jasmine felt rage burning her throat. So you're destroying me to save your party? Benton shook his head. To save the country. You're a sacrificial lamb, Jasmine. History won't remember you. He slid a paper across the table. Sign this confession. Retire quietly. Your mother keeps her health care. Jasmine stared at the paper, tears welling. And if I refuse? Benton's eyes hardened. Then you disappear, and America never hears your name again. Jasmine clenched her fists under the table. Her grandmother's voice echoed in her soul. Baby, courage is doing what's right, even if it costs everything. And as Benton waited, Jasmine whispered, I'm not signing anything. 2 hours later, Jasmine found herself shoved onto a tiny chair in front of a single camera. A bright light seared her eyes. A man in a headset barked orders. Congresswoman Crockett, make a statement. Confess. Jasmine closed her eyes, chest heaving. Go ahead, she whispered. Roll it live. The red light blinked on. Millions watched as Jasmine stared straight into the camera. My name is Jasmine Crockett. I'm innocent. And I have proof Donald Trump hid millions overseas. They're trying to silence me because they know it's true. A guard lunged forward to cut the feed, but Jasmine screamed. I uploaded the evidence already. Check your emails, America. Look for the files from Liberty's daughter. The truth is yours now. Chaos erupted. Technicians shouted. Screens flickered. Benton burst into the room, red-faced. Shut her up. But it was too late. Phones buzzed across the country. Reporters gasped as emails poured in. Jasmine felt tears streaming down her cheeks. Mama, I did it. Benton lunged at her, snarling. You've just declared war, Jasmine. You have no idea what's coming. 3 days later, Jasmine sat in a hospital room beside her mother's bed. Outside, cameras flashed behind security glass. Her mother squeezed her hand weakly. Jazzy, you're my hero. Jasmine pressed her forehead to her mother's. I thought I lost everything, Mama. But I still have you. The news played on a muted TV. Clips rolled of reporters confirming the hidden accounts. Trump's legal team scrambled to respond. Congress demanded new hearings. Hashtags trended worldwide. People were calling Jasmine a whistleblower, a patriot. Some called her a liar still. But she'd chosen to fight no matter the cost. Ben Rosario, battered but alive, entered quietly, smiling. You saved the country, Jasmine. She shook her head. I didn't save it. I just told the truth. Her mother whispered, That's how the world changes. Jasmine closed her eyes, exhaustion washing over her. But deep inside, a single spark burned bright. No matter how powerful the lie, the truth always finds the light. And outside, chants echoed through the streets. Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you. If this story moved you, if you believe truth matters, even when it's terrifying, please like this video, subscribe for more powerful stories, and tell us in the comments, would you have had the courage Jasmine did? Together, we can keep shining light in the darkest places. Thank you for watching, and never stop fighting for the truth.